Have you ever heard of someone who simply decided they were healed, and then they were? No treatment, no medical explanation, just a powerful shift within. That's exactly what happened to the woman in today's story. Her doctors couldn't explain it, but those who understand how the law of assumption and the law of vibration work know that the body doesn't lead, it follows. So was it a miracle, or the silent power of the mind reshaping reality from the inside out? This channel isn't just about stories. It's about hidden codes behind the reality you live. And maybe, without realizing, you've been trying to decipher them for years. Here, every case is a key, a clue, a mirror of what you might be going through too. Today, what you're about to hear seems impossible. But when you understand the universal laws, the impossible becomes only misunderstood. She received a devastating diagnosis. A tumor that, according to science, wasn't going away. But instead of sinking into despair, she chose something else. She began to vibrate differently. She assumed deeply, consistently that she was already healed. Her thoughts changed. Her energy changed. And soon, her body followed. This wasn't just hope. It was alignment. Alignment with a frequency so powerful, it overrode what reality seemed to say. And that brings us to the real question. What if your illness is not just physical, but vibrational? What if the thoughts you carry every night before you sleep are commanding your body without you even knowing? You've heard of the placebo effect, but this goes deeper. This is the law of mentalism in action, the mind as the projector, the body as the screen, and the belief as the script. Frequencies aren't just metaphors, they are commands. When you vibrate in illness, your body obeys. When you shift into the frequency of healing, your body listens. And that's why this case isn't just a miracle story. It's a map, a real-life manifestation story that proves your subconscious mind holds the pen to the script of your life. Are you writing the story you want? Or are you letting old beliefs choose for you? You might not have heard of the law of assumption before today, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why so many spiritual awakenings begin the moment someone stops wishing and starts assuming, because it's not about what you want. It's about what you believe you already are. Stay with me. What you're about to discover might not just change how you see healing. It might just change how you see your entire reality. In this video, you're going to uncover the hidden mechanics behind reality, specifically how two universal laws can silently shape your health, your body, and your future. You'll come face to face with the law of assumption, a principle that teaches you how to embody your desired reality before it arrives. Not just imagine it, not just want it, but become it. And when that happens, reality has no choice but to mirror your inner state. You'll also witness the law of vibration in action, the energetic truth that everything you think, feel, and believe emits a frequency. And that frequency is always attracting something. You'll see how this law isn't just spiritual theory, but a practical force that responds to your emotional baseline, shaping the outcomes you experience every day. Throughout the story, you'll not only understand these laws, you'll learn how to apply them in your own life. How to shift your energy when fear takes over. How to assume healing, success, or peace as if it's already true. How to recognize when your thoughts are silently programming your body or attracting more of what you don't want. This isn't just about knowing universal laws. It's about living them consciously, powerfully, and consistently. And it starts right now. So stay with me. What you're about to discover might not just change how you see healing. It might just change how you see your entire reality. Because if this story touches something in you, if it stirs that quiet part inside that knows there's more to life than what the eyes can see, then I want to hear from you. What part of this already resonates? Have you ever felt your body respond to your thoughts or emotions in a way that no one else could explain? Share it in the comments. Your story, your insight, even your doubts, they matter. Not just to me, but to everyone who finds this space and sees themselves reflected in your words. And if you're feeling this message, if this kind of conversation awakens something in you, take a second to like this video. It might seem small, but that single click tells the algorithm this matters. It helps this message reach more people who are looking for healing, meaning, or a deeper connection with the invisible forces that shape their lives. And of course, if this isn't the first time something Aki made you feel understood, you feel like you've finally found a space that speaks your language, then subscribe. It's how you stay connected. How you make sure you don't miss the next key, the next code, the next mirror that might be waiting just around the corner. Because what we're building here isn't just a channel. It's a field, a frequency, a community of people who are waking up and recognizing that the unseen is speaking all the time. And now, it's time to go even deeper. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because what happened to her was not luck, nor a miracle in the traditional sense. It was a silent turning point, an internal moment of decision that no one saw coming. While everyone around her saw only the gravity of the diagnosis, she was busy creating something else, a new vibrational identity. She did not deny the disease, but she also did not give it any more space. She did not feed the fear. She did not reinforce the name of the tumor. She decided that this reality was no longer hers and began to live on a different frequency, one that said, I am healthy. And that choice, that small and invisible internal gesture, changed everything. For weeks, she maintained this state. Not as a game of make-believe, but as a new mental home. She would wake up and tell herself that she was cured. She no longer sought confirmation in the symptoms. She had already accepted the outcome. It was as if her vibration was telling the universe, align me with what is already mine. This may seem unattainable, but the truth is that this possibility is much closer than we imagine. The cure, in this case, did not come from outside. It came from the collapse of an old identity. And this is the part that affects us the most, because it forces us to rethink the way we deal with what we call reality. She didn't just change her diet or her words. She changed the entire field, the vibration around her body, the energetic climate of her own mind. And this is something that no traditional medicine can measure yet, but it's there, happening every day, behind the scenes of every spontaneous healing that science can't explain. We're talking about a territory where the mind stops being just thought and becomes command, where intention stops being desire and becomes frequency. And the hidden truth behind this story is that we are all creating something right now. Maybe without knowing it. Maybe by feeding with our attention that which we fear the most. How many times have you repeated a phrase like, nothing works for me? Or, this pain will never go away? What if, without realizing it, these words are carrying an energetic signature? What if your body, so faithful, is simply obeying what you affirm every day, even in silence? This is not guilt, it is power. A raw power, sometimes ignored, sometimes misdirected, but it is there. It has always been, and that's why this case is so disconcerting. Because it points to an invisible responsibility. She didn't wait for her symptoms to disappear before she felt cured. She felt cured first, and then the symptoms no longer had any space. This isn't magic, it's alignment. It's as if she had hacked into the invisible structure of reality and set a new, vibrational password. The same reality that had previously seemed fixed now began to bend before the new version. She had chosen to live . And this raises a question that you may need to face with courage. Which version of yourself is controlling your vibration today? The one that is still waiting for something to change before allowing itself to feel differently? Or the one that decides to feel what it wants to experience now, even when everything around it seems to say otherwise? Comment, I'm on this journey too, because now, This is where it all starts to reveal itself. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because this story, as unique as it may seem, may just be a reflection of what you are also experiencing in silence. How many times have you caught yourself saying to yourself that something simply cannot be fixed? It won't go away. That's just the way I am. It's always been this way. These phrases, which sometimes seem so harmless, carry an absurd vibrational force. And the most dangerous thing, this force is invisible. No one sees when you hold on to them. No one notices when you start to accept that pain is part of your destiny. But your body notices. And more than that, it responds. Sometimes, it's not even what you say, it's what you feel. It's that chronic feeling of helplessness, of inadequacy, that no matter how much you try to change something on the outside, everything inside remains the same. As if there were a layer that won't dissolve, no matter how many therapies you do, how many diets you start, how many goals you write. It's as if your vibration is stuck in a pattern that feeds on repetition. And this, as subtle as it may seem, defines everything. It defines your encounters, your opportunities, your physical well-being, and most importantly, your ability to heal. This is the part that hurts the most to accept, and at the same time, the most liberating. Because if your body is obeying internal commands that you don't even realize anymore, then the key was never outside. It was never about deserving, about luck or genetics. It was about what you have been assuming as truth, day after day, since you perhaps didn't even know what it was to consciously choose. And that changes everything. Because when you understand that you are vibrating not only what you desire, but what you fear the most, you begin to realize how much your reality has been obeying you faithfully. And then comes an even deeper revelation. What you call pain may no longer be yours. Perhaps it was inherited, repeated, absorbed. An emotional script that began way back in another phase, somewhere else, but that you continue to enact without realizing it. And in this vibrational theater, your body is the main actor. It plays the role that you sustain, even if unconsciously. And that is why many people live in cycles that seem like curses, but are actually just commands that have not been updated. And commands, can be overridden. This is true transformation. It's not about getting a little better. It's about changing the code. About looking inside with such honesty that you finally break the loop. Because you may be carrying something that is no longer yours. A fear, a belief, a feeling frozen in time. And maybe the only thing it's waiting for is a new command, a new internal state, a new vibrational decision right there. I'm on this journey too, because what comes next will touch even deeper. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because what seems simple on the surface, assuming an internal state and vibrating at a new frequency, actually involves a complete reprogramming of the way you see yourself and your own reality. The law of assumption is not just a pretty concept. It is a radical invitation for you to stop being who you have been. Because to assume something new, you need to let go of old states, including those that have given you identity for so long. Fear, scarcity, suffering. All of these, even if painful, may have become part of who you believe yourself to be. And that is where the hidden challenge of this law lies. It is not just about imagining what you want. It is about Momion, who vibrates this effortlessly, and this affects everything. Your memories, the stories you repeat about yourself, the labels you've accepted to carry. Because you can't embrace healing, for example, while you're still holding on to the narrative that something is wrong with you. The universe doesn't read your words, it reads your state. And the state is deeper than the mind. It lives in the way you breathe, in the images that come to you when you close your eyes, in the silent decisions you make every day without realizing it. When you understand this, you begin to realize that transformation doesn't happen when something changes outside. It happens when something changes deep inside, within. The law of vibration comes in here as the driving force behind this change, because it shows that there is no such thing as vibrational neutrality. You are always emitting something, even when you are still, even when you are silent, even when you don't want to. And what you emit is what you attract, but not in a linear way, as if it were a request to the universe. It is more like tuning in, like a radio. You don't listen to the music you want, you listen to the station you are tuned to. And this applies to everything: relationships, health, money, experiences. Reality does not choose for you. It reflects. You. So when that woman decided to live as if she were already cured, what she really did was change stations. She stopped vibrating sickness, despair, expectation. And she started vibrating fullness, certainty, completeness. Not because everything was resolved outside, but because something was resolved inside. The mind stopped resisting. The heart stopped fighting, and the body just responded. Because the body always responds. It is the most honest reflection of what you really believe, not of what you say, but of what you feel when no one is looking. And that is why the healing was not a random miracle. It was a vibrational consequence, a logical response within the universal laws. And that changes everything, because it shows that you are not a passenger in life. You are its vibrational architect. And when you understand that, you start paying attention not to what you want, but to who you are being. Because that is what commands everything. Comment: this makes sense to me, because now it's time to look at the part that almost no one sees. Her body didn't heal by a miracle. It wasn't an outside intervention, a cosmic coincidence, or a glitch in the tests. What happened there was an alignment of thought, emotion, and internal state so profound that reality itself had no choice but to respond. And it did. Because that's what reality does all the time. It obeys. It obeys not what you tell it to, but what you vibrate when no one is looking. And when that woman began to live as if the healing was already real, she wasn't tricking the universe. She was actually telling it exactly where she wanted everything to go. And the universe did. The hidden truth behind this case is that she was never at war with her illness. She wasn't fighting to heal her body. What she did was more subtle, more silent, and much more powerful. She stopped feeding the frequency of fear. She stopped reinforcing the story of pain. She chose, every day, a new vibrational narrative until it stopped being a mental effort and became her new natural state. And when that happens, the inner world and the outer world begin to align. Slowly, almost without fanfare. But inevitably. Her healing was a response, not an exception. A logical consequence of a new energetic signature that began to control everything. And that is what bothers us the most when we hear stories like this, because it forces us to face the fact that perhaps, without knowing it, we are vibrating the opposite of what we want to experience. And then the question stops being, how do I change the world outside? And becomes, what internal world am I sustaining every day? Because it is this invisible world that is guiding everything you call destiny. She was not chosen. She did not have a special gift. What she had was the courage to change the root, not just the symptom. To change the state, not just the habits. And that requires more than strength. It requires surrender. Because when you choose to assume a new state, you have to let go of the old. Even if that old brings you a certain kind of comfort. Even if you have learned to identify with it. And that is exactly what she did. She gave up the identity of the disease to live the vibration of healing. And at that point, everything changes. Because life starts to treat you the way you treat yourself. It starts to respond to you with the same vibration that you silently sustain. And the most incredible thing, this applies to everything. Health, love, purpose, peace, Everything you want to experience already exists at some vibrational level. But it only comes close to you when you become compatible. And this compatibility is not forced. It assumes itself. As she did, she was not a victim of an illness. She was a co-creator of a cure. And what seemed impossible in the end was just reality obeying a new consciousness. A consciousness that decided to stop repeating fear and began to vibrate the truth of what it wanted to live. And perhaps without knowing it, you are also closer to this than you imagine. Because the truth is that reality was never against you. It was just waiting for you to change the frequency. If you've made it this far, it's because some part of this story spoke directly to you. Maybe it was a reminder, maybe it was confirmation, or perhaps it was a key that you didn't even know you were looking for. And if this content touched you in some way, if it made you look at your reality with different eyes, consider subscribing to the channel. Because that's exactly what we do here. Unlock codes, reveal what was hidden, and connect you with what was always inside. Also leave a comment saying, "This message was for me." It's my way of knowing that you were here until the end, in this deep space that not everyone chooses to stay in. And if it made sense, if you felt like you were there for this conversation, leave a like. It helps this energy to continue expanding, not only for the channel, but for those who still need to hear it. And now, if you want to continue on this same path, there is a video here on the side that complements everything we talked about. Click and continue with me there, because there is still much more to be remembered.